Hi lovies, you're welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, that leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's dive in today's video.
So lovelies, I came across these beautiful teachers on my For You page on TikTok where there's, pink-colored women have decided to keep educating themselves on how to deal with what has been going on between Ray and Sis and all of that. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as some of those stitches I was able to put together from these women. Please leave me your thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. Alright lovelies, let's dive into it.
So I had a lot of white people in my comments asking, what happens if I cry after being called out for a racist remark or microaggression? And what happens if I'm super emotional? So let's get into it. I'd first like to pose a genuine question to white people. Why are you crying after being called out? Take a minute, think about it, pause. Now that you're back, I'm gonna guess that you're crying probably because you're feeling a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, probably a little bit of anger at yourself, maybe some sadness. Yeah, like am I smart on the base? And those are totally valid emotions to have, like 100%. Like you can have those emotions. It is simply none of our business. As people of color, after you heard us, it is literally none of our business what emotions you're feeling. And you have to work that out on your own. What happens after you commit a microaggression or you make a racist remark? Us as people of color, we're hurt. We're human, so we're hurting and we're in distress. And what we need you to do is to listen to how you harmed us and need you to listen to how we are doing. And you just need to shut up and listen that whole entire time. And what we're not gonna do is center how you're feeling in that moment after you've hurt us. And what happens when you start crying is that you are letting us know that you're feeling guilty, sad, angry, any of those emotions, and suddenly you are centering yourself, and this conversation can go no further. So what happens when you're crying is you're not listening to us. You are feeling your emotions in that moment and you're working them through. And you can do that on your own time, but not while we're actively hurting. We are in distress, and when you are crying, you're not listening to our needs. You're not tending to our needs. You are tending to your own. And you are doing that in front of a person of color, and you are taking up space. And now they have to take time off. We have to take up time off from our hurt to listen to your tears and your crying and your sobbing and your whimpering. And it is pathetic. And it is so harmful because you're letting us know that you feel like your emotions are more important in that moment. I don't care what your thoughts are. I don't care if you're like, no, I care about emotions. No, because once you start crying, you are centering your emotions. You don't care about us. I know a lot of y'all are like, but I get super emotional. I cry over little things. Like, how can I control this? Suck it up. Suck it the fuck up. Trust me, you can. I've had to do it. After microaggression and racist remark, I've had to suck it up while I watch white people cry because they feel bad that they've hurt me, but I didn't even get the chance to cry about how hurt I was. It's not okay for you to start crying, because why is your hurt more important than mine? Why do you get to process your hurt after you hurt me? It's not okay. Comments like these make me genuinely concerned because y'all are aware that your white tears are damaging and dangerous, but you guys would still cry. And if you can't take responsibility for your own actions without crying, don't be around people of color. Don't put us in harm's way. Calling someone out for being racist or their microaggression is not having a go at them. It is education, because inherently you are educating that white person on what their racist behavior is. And I'm assuming they don't know otherwise. They wouldn't have known otherwise that that was racist. Otherwise they wouldn't have needed to be called out. And so when a person of color takes the energy and time out of their day to tell a white person, hey, that was racist, that is education. That is a call out, and that is a favor to the white person, assuming that they actually want to learn from their mistakes. But it's also a favor because people of color don't owe white people a call out, because a lot of times we can't. Because not only is it emotionally draining to call out white people and educate them, it also puts us in danger a lot of times because white people lash out when they're called out. So it's a favor because a lot of times we can't do it, and it's emotionally draining. We don't owe it to you. You're welcome.
this is still white woman tears. And it's a great example of continuing to center yourself even within a conversation that is explicitly about the need for you to decenter yourself. This woman replied to a video about white woman tears with more white woman tears. And the thing is, I do really think she means well, but she is so used to eliciting comfort from people of color that she thought this was an appropriate response. When in fact, what you're doing is you are asking for more emotional and mental labor from women of color. It's not that you don't deserve comfort, but you shouldn't be seeking comfort here. This is essentially exactly what I was talking about in my last video.
I want to read you guys a quote by Ruby Hamid in her book, White Tears, Brown Scars, How White Feminism Betrays Women of Color. And Ruby is a Syrian Lebanese journalist. It is crucial to understand what we are talking about when we talk about white tears. The kind of distress we are analyzing may well feel genuine, but it is neither legitimate nor innocent. Rather than denoting weakness, it signals power. Though white fragility is triggered by discomfort and anxiety, it is born of superiority and entitlement. White fragility is not weakness. It is a powerful means of white racial control and the protection of white advantage. And to quote Robin DiAngelo in her book White Fragility, when a certain group is in control, they therefore have the ability to control the narrative and decide when something is discriminatory or not, and who is being affected.
At the moment, for particularly white women to film videos of themselves pretending to cry, and then when the beat drops, they suddenly show that they were just faking the entire time. And there have been many POC creators on this app that have already outlined the issues inherent with that, and how white women's fragility and victimhood has historically been used to target particularly black men. But the thing is, white women participate in trends like these and then turn around and wonder why people of color don't trust us, and wonder why people of color have so many criticisms about feminism and white feminism in particular. This is exactly why. Because we participate in trends like this showing no understanding of the context of our actions and their consequences. Historically, white women have always pushed people of color aside in our activism in order to further our own interests at their expense. We have not shown ourselves to be worthy of trust, and this is just another example of that.
What should you do if someone calls you a racist, or you self-reflect and realize that you have done something wrong in the middle of a situation or conversation? Let's take a look at it. This is based on research that I did for my dissertation, learning how to talk about race in schools, but also on my own personal experience. We are all imperfect and we all are trying to be better. And I think right now one of the problems is there's a lot of white people on TikTok who are saying, these people are the problem, these people are the problem, without really doing that self-reflection and identifying the ways that we ourselves could do better. So this is my strategy based on research and experience, what I do when I realize that I have made a mistake. It feels like a slap in the face, therefore the acronym SLAP. Step 1, stop. Usually I find myself, when I've done something wrong, I have this word vomit moment where I just keep digging myself deeper into a hole. And I see that with other people too. This is the point of the conversation where you hear people say, well, I have a best black friend, or my family member is gay too. We need to stop. Just stop. If there's nothing else you get from this, stop is most important. Stop. Don't try to dig yourself out. Step 2, listen. Ask questions. Really? Why do you think that? Can you help me understand? That gets a lot further in the conversation and gives you a lot more information about where the other person is coming from. And if you realize you've made a mistake, listening is the right way to show the other person that you have stopped and are ready to shift the conversation. Next step, apologize. Now, this is not, I'm sorry you felt. Do not do that. You need to do a proper apology. I am sorry that I did. I know this hurt you because, and I am going to try to do this in the future. And the last part is process. As soon as we realize that we have done something wrong or someone else calls us out on something that we have done wrong, we immediately engage in self-protection. We immediately engage in these really, really defensive speech patterns. Well, I only did that because X, Y, Z. Well, I actually have this. Well, I actually... Stop. Process. You are okay. You can do things that are wrong and still be a good person. But you need to process that, protect yourself, and learn from this experience. I like to, once I have done something wrong, once I have stopped, listened, and apologized, I like to look at what biases were happening underneath the surface that caused me to make that mistake. And then I try to go look for resources that fill in those gaps. I want to find the parts of TikTok which are amazing, that are not full of people pointing fingers, are not full of people calling each other racist, especially amongst white communities. I'm interested in finding real solutions that we can all use to make the world a more accepting and loving place. Let me tell you, my life has been so enhanced by moving out of my 99% white suburbs to all different places around the country and world. And I want to share that experience and what I've learned along the way.
Like, seriously, lovelies, is just very relieving that most of all these women have decided to actually educate themselves about, what is going on in this society and all of that, especially the aspect of race and cis and all of that. Oftentimes, most of all these, white women often do something very, very undespicable in times of being, racially whatever to someone, or maybe my own, let me just use as a black person, they tend to use this law. And another thing that makes me to like, what the heck? They will be the one to first of all being racist towards someone. And when this person retaliates, and at the issue of retaliation, you have been called out, like the white person was called out or the white woman was called out, the way at which she would just twist everything, the way at which she would just make it seem as if you are now the one hurting her. She was the first person that actually started it all, but she would not twist it to make it now look as if you are the one hurting her, like with the tears, with the way they narrate the story. That's why there was a time on TikTok where this white women tears was something that is just trending. Like, a lot of them use this aspect to put a lot of innocent people, especially but white women or but black women and black guys, they put them behind bars as a result of this fake white women tears. Like, they are the one being racially insensible and when they've been called out, people dragging them, they start crying. They start, oh my goodness, this is not what I mean. This actually remind me of just what happened it's not even up to a week. I think I actually reacted to the said video where this pan-colored woman decided it was so good to drag black people because of the album that Beyonce released, the country music album that Beyonce released. And she went ahead to talk about how black people never own a country, that that we are very good at picking, that we were just busy picking and working in the plantations and all of that. We never had time to own a country. Talk more of owning a country music, and this actually went so viral. She happens to be a nurse, a student nurse for that matter. A lot of people were dragging her until a pan-colored person like her had to put a call across through her. And the way she was sounding in that call, she was not twisting the whole thing, making it look as if people are the ones putting words into her mouth. But you are the first person that came out to show how insensible or how you are. And when you see that people are now beginning to drag you, trying to cancel you for whatever thing you did, you are now like being, oh my god, that was actually not what I mean. People are just trying to put things or words into my mouth. This is not, this is, you need to really, really hold accountable to what you've done. And after holding the accountability, the next thing you have to do is to apologize and actually work on yourself to be a better version of yourself. Instead of you to actually use the term, is it reverse rain says, like, seriously. And this is very common with majority of pan-colored women. It is very, very common with them. They'll be the first person that want to like spike you when you want to retaliate and try, maybe you don't want to, and try to call them out, people dragging them, they just start crying. There is a video that trended as about, something last year, is it August? This woman, she was a pan-colored woman, and she went somewhere, maybe she was walking somewhere, she came out and there were bike parked and all of that. Then she decided to take something that does not belong to her, which was belonged to a black man. But when this black man was like, this is mine, you don't have to take my stuff, I was here before you and all of that, she decided that she want to challenge the man. And when she sees that people are now coming to like actually stand for the truth, she have to change everything. She have to lie, and even went ahead to say that she was pregnant and crying. The man was like, oh my goodness, you never did the right thing. And when you're being called out, to your sins, instead of you to get it acknowledged, probably work towards yourself or change and all of that, you want to change it as if the other person is crazy. Like, seriously, as if the other person, then you just become so shocked, like, wow. The way they twisted, the way they, like, it's actually trended that most of all these women decide to back into this trend that a pan-colored woman would just be crying, and after a few seconds, she becomes in a mute, like, she smiles. This is what's trended it. And now that the facts that most of them are beginning to realize this, and they're trying to, educate themselves on how to actually become more accountable to what you've done, acknowledge the fact that you have really done something that, hurt someone. Yeah, really, like, you did something that hurt someone. You are not in the position to feel that you are the one that is being hurt here. You were the one that first of all hurt someone. You have to acknowledge that, okay, I have hurt you by saying such a word to you. I am so sorry. It's my mistake for doing that. You have to just acknowledge it. There's no point trying to fake it or pretend as if, oh my God, you are the receiving end. Oh my God, this person is being so rude. No. When you are called out, you don't need to cry. You don't need to just take a chill pill. Acknowledge that I have done something so wrong. Okay, I'm so sorry. That's nothing that is so powerful compared to the word I am sorry. I'm really sorry deep inside. Then you have to work how to change it. There are a lot of people that will just tell you I'm sorry, and they'll still repeat the same thing. A lot of people still say I'm sorry and still repeat the same thing. There's a difference between being sorry and actually, genuinely being sorry and working towards changing for a better version of yourself. So if you've been called out, you have to acknowledge it. Become sorry of it. Work on yourself. You have to take accountability first. Work on yourself and educate yourself more. Most of them don't want to educate themselves, because if you ask them and try to like talk about racism and all of that, they were like, oh my God, what are you saying? Or maybe when the case of privilege and all of that comes involved, they don't want to talk about it. They don't even want to educate themselves. The only thing that will tell you about privilege is that I am also suffering. I don't have enough. So why are you talking about privilege? It's not that. That is not what we meant by you being privileged. I posted a video where a guy was like, I am from my family and background is poor and all of that. You're telling me that I am privileged as a punk color person. No, this is different from what we're actually talking about. That is what they don't understand, and this is why they don't want to educate themselves. They keep on saying that you won't want us to maybe pay for what our ancestors did by paying reparations and all of that. We don't, but you guys are still benefiting one way or the other for it. It's just something that if they can actually do this, the world might be a better place. Get yourself accountable. Be that person that actually want to learn. Educate yourself. Try to know where you can actually, where you can come in and do better for yourself and the society at large. Anyway, anyways, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and I will see you when
Watch up to this extent. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes, guys. Alright, lovelies. Please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you when I upload the next one.